Hey, I've got a number of throwline techniques I'd like to share with you. It should make your life a lot easier while you're working. A really useful technique is knowing how to get the bag to swing once you've thrown into the tree. How do we get this to move? Some people will send the bag down and give it a slight tap. And then once you've got the bag moving, you can see just with a short, quick pull, when it's at its most optimum distance of swing, with a little sharp pull now and release, pull now and release, pull now, pull now, pull now, pull now. And you can see you can start to increase the swing the sharper the tug you get. You can also create the swing by pulling the bag up and bouncing it off of a branch. Then once you've got that natural swing without you even touching it, you can do it while it's up in the tree and create that swing. Walking or jumping the throw line up the branches is a really useful technique. Quite tree dependent, so as long as the branches aren't too far apart, and it works well if they're a bit like a ladder. If you're a little low with your throw line, but you want to achieve the next branch up, if you get your throw line just underneath the branch and not too close, just underneath to allow a nice movement of swing, get that movement of the swing great enough that it's almost going to jump over the branch if we were to pull too hard. But instead, what you do is you allow the swing of the bag to almost get to its optimum point, and you give it a short, quick tug, and then you release the throw line to allow the bag to go over the branch, and then you could continue, if you wanted to try and now swing this over the next branch up. How to isolate the branch. So we've thrown over the top of the tree, and I've decided that I actually want to get this lower branch just where the bag is touching now. The trouble is, as you can see, the branches are directly above each other, and as I try and pull this up and over, there's no way that that's going to flip down onto that lowest branch. It's going to just pull out. So what we do is we use the swinging technique that we learned earlier, just to get that bag moving. And once you get that bag moving, you're basically trying to get that bag to go over the one that we want to achieve. And as you can see, the bag I've just sent over the branch is actually diverting the line on the right hand side. Then what I can do, because I've got a throw bag on the other end of my throw line, I pull that up, and then carefully, as you get to the branch at the top, you give it a short, quick tug and then release. And then that flips that down onto the branch that you actually want to put your rope onto. So another really useful technique to isolate a branch is using a second throw line, which is commonly known as double bagging. So in this example, you can see I've thrown over the top of the canopy of the tree, but the branches I've thrown over are too small for me to climb onto. And I ideally would like my climbing rope over one of these nice bigger forks down here. Okay, so what I need to do first of all is I need to get that bag moving to a position on the opposite side of the branch of the one that I want to isolate. Let's just get that moving. Let's get that one there. Ooh, there. Okay. And as you can see, I've gone on the left-hand side of that branch, which means as I pull it up, gravity will naturally send that bag back on this side. So that's what I want. So let's get that going on the opposite side. There. And you send that all the way down to the ground. Attach your second throw line. And then pull that up. Lightly hold the second throw line as you pull the bags over, and as you can see, weight of gravity is trying to pull that bag over to the right hand side. Then lightly holding the two throw lines, you allow them to come down and isolate the branch that you want. If, like in the example we've got here, the branch that we've achieved isn't fully isolated, and in this instance, let's say I want to put a moving rope system in, so I do want to isolate it rather than just do a ground anchor, a stationary rope system, I can deal with that in a moment. My best advice is that once you've double bagged using the second throw line, that first one, in this case the red throw line, is now no longer needed. So before I do anything else, before I install a rope, before I try and isolate that branch any further, I will take the throw bag off and make sure that doesn't get stuck, so that goes up. And then I clear that line. That's now free. I can then now, if I need to, isolate this one and install my climbing rope as required. What can be quite frustrating sometimes is you actually achieve the branch that you want to climb on, but you'll notice that your throw line is away from the union. We know we want our climbing line right in the union there because it's the strongest point. So if I assess it and I realize there are no other little forks or little branches in the way, and I think it's quite clear into that union, I'll actually install the climbing line onto the throw line. And as it gets underneath the branch, what I'll do is I will actually stand towards the fork. So as I'm pulling on that throw line, in this instance here towards the right, I will start to pull in towards the fork, and I'll give it a short, quick tug, and it will usually roll it down into the fork. If it doesn't, and it stays out here, what I'll do is I will then take the climbing line and the throw line, walk towards the fork, and then continue to roll forward and back, and it will usually roll it down into the fork. If it's been quite stubborn and it won't roll back into the union as you pull it up and over, or in an instance here we've got a small tiny little sprag here which might prevent it from coming back in, and also the branch here in this example is very, very slightly drooping away from the main stem, you can add an alpine butterfly just below where you've connected it on the climbing rope. So we pull the throw line over the branch, and then we've got this alpine. And then what we can do is do the same thing for both sections back in towards the union, but we're going to do a quick flip back and forth. And what happens is as that alpine hits the branch, it creates a flip, and it allows the rope to come off the branch temporarily as you keep pulling back in towards that union. Something that can be really frustrating but happens quite a lot is that we can get some equipment stuck at the end of our working day. So here I've got my climbing line, and as I've retrieved it, my cambium saver has wrapped around a branch or got stuck in a fork. If I can't pull it out, the next thing I'll always look at, see if I can actually lift it out with a throw line. So what I'll do is I'll put a throw line into the canopy above the stuck item and somewhere relatively near it. I don't want to be throwing out on the left-hand side. Once you've put your throw line into the tree, all you want to do is make sure that the throw line, when it comes down, follows the line of the stuck climbing line. Just one side, like we've got here. Once it comes down to you, stick a carabiner onto the throw bag and over the stuck climbing line, like we've got here. Then what you do is you keep pulling it up, and as you can see, it gets stuck underneath the cambium saver, and it continues to pull it. Give it a good pull, and at this point it might start to pull out. Now if it doesn't, what I could do is once I've pulled it high enough, I can actually go back to the climbing line and pull down on that to help try and pull it out. But it looks like it's going to come out if I keep pulling the throw line. Keep pulling till it comes out, go back to the climbing line, and then pull it down till you're under control.